buildings destroyed during NSAS protests. Resident doctors begin indefinite strike in Ondo State. And on business, federal government approves 5 billion naira bailout for aviation sector.
And in sports, the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) seeks CAF's approval for the use of VAR at Samuel Gbamudia Stadium.
Details of these and more after this break. I am Charles Oporum. Examination Council has released the results of the 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Examination (WASC) with 1,338,348 candidates passing with 5 credits and above. Patrick Arega, head of the Nigerian office of WAEC, announced the results at a press briefing on Monday. The results showed that female candidates had better results than males in most of the subjects. Out of the 1,003,668 who obtained 5 credits with both mathematics and English, the female share was 506,529, representing 50.47%. The male students who also obtained the same level of credits were 497,139, or 49.53%. A further breakdown also shows that candidates who obtained 5 credits with English and mathematics were slightly more than those who did so in 2019. Meanwhile, the National Examinations Council (NECO) has announced the nationwide commencement of the 2020 Senior School Certificate Examinations from Monday, 9th November 2020. The examinations were temporarily suspended owing to the NSAS protests, which disrupted the movement of materials nationwide. Head of Information and Public Relations Division (NECO), Aziz Sani, disclosed this in a statement on Monday in Abuja. Aziz Sani said the new timetable will be made available to the general public, schools and candidates from Wednesday, 4th November 2020, and can also be downloaded from the NECO official website www.neco.gov.ng. And now to Edo State, where the Edo State government will rebuild all the police stations and posts destroyed in the course of the recent NSAS protest in the state. Governor Godwin Obaseki made the commitment on Monday while addressing men and officers of the Nigeria Police Force during a solidarity visit to the Edo State Police Command headquarters in Benin City. Our correspondent, Chinedu Ikeja, reports that the governor also made a special appeal to the officers to return to their duty posts, as the people of Edo State will appreciate their services.
It was a solidarity visit meant to restore the confidence of men and officers of the Edo State Police Command following the impact of the NSAS protest a few weeks ago, which was hijacked, seeing many of the police officers running for their lives. Governor Obaseki acknowledged that the call for the reform of Nigeria Police was a valid one, but however regretted that the original intentions of the protesters were lost when aggrieved interest took the opportunity to hijack the exercise.
What has happened is quite unfortunate. Unfortunate in the sense that we all saw it coming, but we did not know it would take this turn. I am sure that even within the police, there are people who believe and support the NSAS protesters. Because what they were protesting against originally is something many of us have also complained about. We all agree that just like many other institutions in Nigeria, even the police needs reform. That is not in doubt.
He said that notwithstanding, the government and the people of Edo State are still with the police, encouraging them to return to their duty posts. In addition to rebuilding the stations destroyed during the protest, the government has also pledged to provide other logistical support as well as offset the medical bills of those officers injured during the protest.
I am here today to assure you of our support. Criminals cannot take over our land under whatever guise. They should not allow your morale be low. They are the ones you were hired in the first place to build. They cannot win. All of you police men and women who are here today, Edo people love you. Edo people respect you. And Edo people will support you. I will demonstrate that in many ways. The Edo State government will now proceed immediately to begin to rebuild the destroyed buildings. We've already ordered for patrol vehicles, and we hope the delivery will be within the next few weeks. We will be responsible for the hospital bills of every policeman or woman who has been hurt as a result of the incidents of the last few weeks.
Earlier in his address, the State Commissioner of Police, CP Johnson Kokumo, was glad that the visit has renewed the morale of the officers.
It is with great pleasure, therefore, I stand before Your Excellency to welcome you and members of your entourage and state that the personal visit to Edo State Police Command Headquarters today, 2nd of November 2020, to identify and commiserate with us has no doubt lifted our spirit in our most trying period.
He highlighted the damage done and the areas affected the most. He said a total of 126 suspects have been arrested in connection with the recent destructions and looting of public and private properties, including 10 of the escapee inmates from the 2 correctional facilities in Benin.
Properties burned to destroy 7 police stations/posts, 16 police patrol vehicles, 5 police officers' personal vehicles, 31 exhibit vehicles. We've been able to recover 7 AK-47 rifles, mosquito nets, bags of rice, crates of assorted drinks. The police stations bonds are located in Oredo, Obaoha, and in the local government areas of the state where criminal activities are highest.
The officers are expected to return to their various duty posts any moment from now. Chinedu Ekeja, KUFM News.
Inmates at the 2 correctional facilities in Benin City, Edo State, who did not escape even when the gate of the prison was thrown open, may be getting a special consideration that will minimize their jail terms. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki gave the hint on Monday while addressing officers and men of the Edo State Police Command as part of efforts to rebuild their confidence following the aftermath of the EndSARS protest. Governor Obaseki assured that he will look into their cases, and if they are not grievous ones, he will consider using his executive powers to pardon them.
For those who refuse to, even when the gates of the prison or the correctional facilities were thrown open, I am going to look at their cases carefully, and those who deserve to be there on their own conduct that they should not have been there in the first place will all be given the necessary reprieve.
The governor, however, vowed that those escaped inmates would be rearrested one by one before Christmas. He encouraged the police not to give up or be demoralized by the recent events that followed the EndSARS protest, assuring that the Edo State government will be there to provide the right support they need to do their job. Governor Obaseki noted that despite the destruction of documents containing information about the inmates' profiles and cases, the authorities are still in possession of their biometrics and that of their next of kins, and such will be used to trace them. Also, the new police unit called Special Weapons and Tactics Unit SWAT on Monday began its training with over 400 personnel at the Police Mobile College in Egon, Nasarawa State. Present at the training ground was the Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Dingyadi, and other officials who came to inspect the training exercise. In his opening remark, the minister said he was happy with the progress the personnel was making and charged them to be good role models in the society. He also acknowledged the changing times and advised the personnel to uphold the principles of democracy and human rights as they get set to carry out their new tasks. The minister further assured the personnel of President Muhammadu Buhari's readiness to improve their welfare and other packages promised them. The personnel, who are over 400, have been undergoing training for weeks at the college, which is the second location of the SWAT personnel training in the country. Elsewhere, the Association of Resident Doctors in Ondo State has commenced a warning strike in the state. Activities at government-owned hospitals have paralyzed or have been paralyzed following the strike action. The doctors embarked on a warning strike over 4 months unpaid salaries. They threatened to embark on indefinite strike from next Monday if the situation remains unchanged. The spokesman of the aggrieved doctors, Taiwo Olagbe, said it was wrong for other workers under Health Management Board to receive regular salaries, while resident doctors were made to suffer. Coming up in a moment after this break, EFCC summons and interrogates former FIRS boss, Babatunde Fowler. Details in a moment, and please stay with us.
Split seconds. There's a lot happening around us, but we can't be everywhere all the time. We've got work, families, and chores to cater to, and most importantly, time to rest. And that's why having reliable partner like KUFM News is important. Sleeping? We don't. We work round the clock, bringing you business, human interests, sports, entertainment, just name it. We've got you covered. KUFM News. Timely, precise, spot on.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) on Monday interrogated the former chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Babatunde Fowler. The spokesperson of the commission, Wilson Ewujari, confirmed on Monday that Fowler, who was also a former chief executive officer, Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, honored the commission's invitation. Fowler is being interrogated over a yet-to-be-identified investigation by the Anti-Graft Agency. The EFCC spokesperson, however, noted that he cannot tell when the commission will be done questioning Fowler. Nigerian students sponsored abroad in 2018 for further studies by the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) are protesting over the non-release of funds for their scholarship for 2 years after being verified twice. The students were seen bearing placards with various inscriptions in front of the Nigerian High Commission in London, disrupting official duties at the Commission's office. The aggrieved students told journalists that the non-payment of their fees has exposed them to numerous dangers, including the COVID-19 virus, as some of them have to work in care homes to raise funds. The scholars lamented that they now live from hand to mouth and depend on menial jobs for funding. The scholars appealed that the federal government use its presidential authority to demand that the NDDC pay the 2018 NDDC scholarship students as soon as possible. They said the protest will continue till next week. The Obafoge of Benin Kingdom, Chief Edu Ekato, is dead. Ekato was the immediate past chairman, Peace and Conflict Resolution Committee, Edo State. Reacting to the news, Edo State Governor Gordon Obaseki, who confirmed his death on Monday, described him as a nobleman who was a great asset to the Benin Kingdom. The Obaseki chieftaincy title in the old Benin Kingdom was a warrior who defended the kingdom against external invasion. Coming up in a moment in our business news, federal government approves 5 billion naira bailout for the aviation industry. Do stay with us, please.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 600 billion, and the last kobo. Oh yes, we follow the money. It's all about the business and the business of business. The gains and the losses. The bulls and bears. The rise and falls, the risk and the satisfaction of seeing the last kobo rise to millions. On KUFM's Business News, the simple and complex jargons of business just make sense. Get the trending news on the morning market, forecast, investment opportunities, policy changes, and other breakout information on the ever-busy world of business. KU Business News, Monday to Friday on our news dawn, 6:30 to 7 a.m.
Welcome back. You're listening to News Dawn on 92.7 KUFM Benin City and on business. The Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, says the federal government would soon start the disbursement of the 5 billion naira bailout it approved for the operators of the aviation sector. Sirika stated this at the opening of a 3-day public hearing on the 6 executive bills meant to reorganize the civil aviation agencies in the country. He said the airline operators would get 4 billion naira, while other businesses in the aviation sector would be given 1 billion naira. The Senate has, however, said the money would not be enough to keep the airline operators in business. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has asked the federal government to suspend the plan to concession airports until all issues have been addressed. The House Committee on Aviation, which berated the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, for failing to appear before it in Abuja on Monday, said it has been receiving petitions against the move. 4 international airports are built for a concession to private operators. They are the Lagos, Abuja, Kano, and Port Harcourt airports. Chairman of the committee, Nolim Naji, said among the concerns were the lack of transparency in the exercise, legal issues, the Chinese loans, the legal issues that may arise from the existing concessions, and the lack of proper evaluation of the present status of the affected airports, among others. business, the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) has said the value-added tax which the Federal Inland Revenue Service generated in the third quarter of 2020 increased by 52.08 billion naira from the corresponding period of last year. In its report titled Sectoral Distribution of Value-Added Tax Quarter 3 2020 on its website, the NBS said sectoral distribution of value-added tax data for Quarter 3 of 2020 reflected that the sum of 424.71 billion naira was generated as VAT in the third quarter of 2020 as against 327.20 billion naira generated in the second quarter of 2020 and 275.12 billion naira generated in the third quarter of 2019, representing 29.80% increase. In the period under review, NBS said the manufacturing generated the highest amount of VAT with 47.07 billion naira generated, and closely followed by professional services generating 44.01 billion naira, commercial and trading generating 21.18 billion naira. It added that the mining generated the least and was closely followed by textile and garment industry and pharmaceutical. Soaps and toiletries with 64.50 million naira, 346.27 million naira and 386.16 million naira generated respectively. Meanwhile, out of the total amount generated in quarter 3 of 2020, 214.66 billion naira was generated as non-import VAT locally, while 115.34 billion naira was generated as non-import VAT for foreign. Also, the balance of 94.70 billion naira was generated as Nigerian Customs Service import VAT. And that's it on business. Over to sports, where the NFF seeks CAF approval for the use of VAR at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. Ewosa Igweka has more in our sports bulletin this morning.
Good morning. Ahead of the 2021 AFCON qualifiers between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and Leon Stars of Sierra Leone, the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) says it will need clearance from the Confederation of African Football (CAF) to use the video assistant referee VAR facility installed at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium. The president of the federation, Amaju Pinnick, disclosed this on Monday morning after an inspection of the pitch ahead of the game scheduled to hold on the 13th of November 2020. Chinedu Ikeja completes the story.
The Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium is the only facility with a video assistant referee, popularly known as VAR in Nigeria at the moment. The stadium is about to host its first international game after its reconstruction by the Edo State government. But the NFF says it requires a clearance from the Confederation of African Football (CAF) to be able to use the facility.
CAF has to approve it, but like I told the deputy governor, whatever you have to showcase it. You have to showcase it. Go out to right again to get approval for it and see how it can be used. But we're very excited about it.
Speaking on his impression of available facilities to host the match, Pinnick said the stadium is in its best form and our Super Eagle players, including the captain, Ahmed Musa, are eager to entertain Edo people that day.
The Super Eagles cannot wait to come to Benin City. You're also aware that Ahmed Musa's mom is from Edo State. So he's the captain of the team. He's so anxious to come and play before his people. I'm in touch with all the players. A few days ago, I spoke with NDD, but regrettably we got his injury. He's from Umone, they're close by. So you can see that there's a lot of excitement from the players. And the NFF team will be moving into Edo State, Benin to be precise, on Friday. And the Super Eagles will start arriving from Sunday as soon as they play their games. Friday, Saturday, they go for the next flight. When I get back to Abuja later today or tomorrow, I should be able to communicate everything that I've seen here to the Ministry of Youth and Sport and also to the Executive Committee. But the truth is that we are very excited about what we have seen.
On his part, the Edo State Deputy Governor, Comrade Philip Shaibu, said the stadium's 15,000 seating capacity would not be utilized so as to comply with the COVID-19 protocols.
For us as a state, we are excited that we'll be having the first international game in this brand new stadium. And that was what it was intended to achieve, to have both national and international games here. We are going to have a game this period of pandemic, and the COVID task force in Edo is very strong, and they are already been recruited to be part of this game. So we are going to enforce and and make sure that all the international best practice is observed in this game. There will be a lot of games here. This one will not have a full capacity spectator. We are going to just have half of them to come to meet the COVID protocol. So we are ready. Only that we want to appeal to the president so that we can use our VAR so that the Darting Thomases will know that there's actually VAR in the stadium.
He also appealed to Edo people to be patient as subsequent games that will happen post-COVID-19 time will accommodate all interested spectators. Chinedu Ekeja, KUFM News.
And finally, Super Eagles defender Ola Aina scored his first Premier League goal as Fulham secured their first win of the season after a 2-0 win over West Bromwich Albion at the Craven Cottage last night. Bobby the Cordova Red put the host in front from close range after Alexander Mitrovic's header had set him up in the 26th minute. They doubled their lead 4 minutes later, and Mitrovic was again involved as he laid the ball for Ola Aina, who struck from 20 yards out. The Cottagers came close to scoring a third, but both Tom Kenny and the Cordova Red had efforts cleared off the goal line within seconds of each other. Fulham are 17th on the table with 4 points from 7 matches, while West Bromwich Albion are 18th with 3 points. And that's sports news on KUFM's News Door. My name is Ebusa. And back to you, Charles.
Thank you very much. We go straight for those sports stories. And of course, with those stories, we come to the end of our package this morning. But before we leave, we recap the headlines. We brought you the following stories. WAEC announces release of 2020 WASC results. The Edo State government is to rebuild police stations destroyed during the NSAS protest. Resident doctors have begun an indefinite strike in Ondo State. Do remember that the continued unity of Nigeria is a collective responsibility. Be sure to play your part. Do not forget you can listen to us anywhere in the world by visiting our website at www.kufm.net, or you can download our mobile app from the Google Play Store. We are also live on YouTube at KUFM Nigeria, and you can also listen to us on RadioGarden.com. KUFM News Dawn was produced by Lebedum Asawam. I am Charles.